They are live? Yeah, so Oleg, please start.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Oleg. I'm co-founder of KeYou. I'm very happy to see you all. Babir, as I understand, we haven't seen each other since March, since the beginning of this COVID-19 outbreak. It's my presentation. Can you see it properly? Yeah, it's okay. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. So I would like to start from a short story which occurred in March. At the beginning of March, my partner, the founder, Nick, and I went to a gay bar called Boxers. It was near the office of Starter Ventures. And in this gay bar, we met a gay and a guy named Joshua. We played billiards and had a small talk about dating apps he used. And it's interesting that he complained a lot about Grindr, where people are mostly looking for hookups and constantly send him nude pics. Unfortunately for him, he had a lack of communication there on Grindr. And it was the reason why he constantly went to this gay bar where he chatted with the newcomers, with regulars, played billiards, and so on. But during COVID-19 outbreak, all the bars were closed. And as we know, they are still closed. Joshua, this way, had lost his communication spot, and apps he used couldn't help him to find friends for chatting, sharing thoughts, moments of his life, and so on. He couldn't find fraternity, brotherhood, and people with whom he could just have good leisure time. The thing is that there are hundreds of thousands of guys like Joshua. They have similar requests. They want to have a safe space for self-expression, yeah, and their full potential realization. Safe space to spend time online. Deeper connections in a post-COVID world matter more than casual hookups. That's why guys like Joshua started using dating platforms for entertainment and socializing. During self-isolation, you either spend time online and get to know new people, or you don't date at all. And we see that LGBTQ members, they feel lonely even more often than straight people. And the product to fill this gap for the younger generation is still missing. Current players are oriented on older generations, and their products are a little bit outdated. When I'm talking about older oriented products, I mean Grindr, Scruff, these apps which are hookup oriented and sex oriented. During COVID-19 outbreak, we saw that dating services were drifting to social networks and entertainment platforms. That's how datertainment, as we call it, emerged. These terms consist of two words, dating and entertainment, and they are essentials. Created by Zoomers, it was totally missed by the older generations. And in our opinion, future is online entertainment, creating new dates. And statistics proves my words. According to statistics, 70% of Tinder users have never met anybody in person after using Tinder. As for students of different colleges, American students, 45% of them who use Tinder don't have any intentions to meet people in real life, and they use this app for confidence boosting procrastinations. We see that there are four generations in commerce: Generation X, Millennials, Generation Z, and Generation Alpha. Gen Z, or Zoomers, will dominate the market in the upcoming 5 or 7 years. And while other generations simply watch the content, Zoomers create it. And this is crucial to understand, and in my opinion, it explains incredible success of TikTok, Like, and similar platforms. Our project KeYou targets members of LGBTQ community younger than 28 years old. Targets people who have adopted new habits, because this generation Z has their own behavioral patterns. We engage users with live streams and immersive dates. When I'm talking about immersive dates, I am talking about dates with the elements of augmented reality, when people can share virtual space, music, and they play online games together. The demand is solid, and just to explain in plain words how it works, I can give you an example how 15 years ago, people just hang on the phone, and now the situation is the same, that everything went online, and youngest generations, they do the same, but instead of home phones, they use live streaming, video group chats, and so on. It's an interesting fact that LGBTQ members date and spend time online 3 times more than straight people. Our major difference is audience. Yeah, Tinder and Bumble are worth mentioning at this point. What makes them different? Some people think that because girls can text first, or maybe they are different because of expiring likes. In our opinion, it's mostly about the audience. And we also have this advantage and this key differentiator, the audience of these LGBTQ members younger than 28 years old. Product value is significantly determined by its audience, and today in the US, there are more than 20 million people who belongs to this LGBTQ community, and more than 28% of total population, they are Zoomers. Today, KeYou is available on the American and Canadian App Store and Google Play, and the product we see today is the result of 4 pivots. We follow the principles of lean startup, and we try to understand which model fits us the best way. Current users are ready to pay for their needs, and it's crucial that today big players support LGBTQ community. Maybe it's one of the reasons why we have graduated from 2 accelerators. One of them in New York, Startup Accelerator, and the second one is S Foundation in Silicon Valley. We found reliable viral mechanics, as we see, and we expect our LTV of $142, and customer acquisition cost is about $51 per subscription. Today, we have more than 3,000 registrations, and we have more than 6,000 visitors on our website, KeYou.one. We position this website as an LGBTQ media, and we even have offers from LGBTQ community. They contribute to our website, they share links on their media outlets, and we hope that thanks to this SEO strategy, the number of the visitors will increase. And while other market players focus on dating, we offer entertainment. There are some players like Grindr with more than $80 million as an annual revenue scrap, but as I told you earlier, they are totally sex-oriented and hookup-oriented. As for our team, we are a team of 20 people. Our main achievement is dating denim. In 2019, it had more than 1 million users, and we had more than $1.5 million as annual revenue. We both our advisor and our mentor. Our advisor is Corey Rosenberg. He's a former creative associate at LinkedIn, Yelp, and he has been consulting different major companies. Yeah, and our mentor is Julian Ortiz. He, as we see, was vice president on the biggest American company, which is engaged in commercial real estate. So now we are looking for 500,000, and
Okay.
thanks for your attention. Yeah, it was less than 10 minutes. Oh no.
No, yeah,
A little bit more.
but it's okay. Yes, please go ahead to the questions. Yeah. Babir, you should be first.
Yeah. Oleg, you said you had 4 pivots. What were they and what have you learned from them?
Yeah, thank you for this question. When we came to the American market, we thought that New York needed a premium gay dating for New Yorkers. And the idea was to create this premium dating for the people who have huge incomes and so on. But unfortunately, we saw that customer acquisition cost was very, very high, and we even couldn't afford advertising campaigns because they were very, very expensive. Then we decided to work with millennials, and then this COVID-19 outbreak happened, and we saw that the market overturned and it had new patterns like this datainment, and we decided to catch this idea because, in my opinion, the datainment idea is our differentiator because we are the authors of this concept.
Okay, and question from Daniel. What about your revenue model?
As for our revenue model, we see that mostly power users pay for different services, and they give most of proceeds. We have a subscription model. We have some sort of a mix now. We have a subscription model and a freemium model because we try to understand how it works the best way, and people can just get 1 month for free. The idea is that it forms a habit, as Apple does. Yeah, you can just get 1 month free trial, and after it expires, you can buy a subscription with big discount, and the third month we charge all the sum. It's about $20. But at the same time, you can just use our platform, and I suppose that it looks like other apps like Grindr, when, for example, you have an access to one part of profiles, and if you want to see more, you should buy a subscription. Yeah, and the same situation with video dates, because we also have video dates. If you want to have a date online, you should pay a subscription.
Yeah, and it was like a question from Daniel. Okay. Daniel, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Yeah, and I also wanted to ask about the video hosting. So are you working with like a hosting platform, or is this something that you're taking on your own? How does that work? Do you have a partnership with somebody, or are you kind of like, having your own hosting costs?
I've got the idea. Thank you very much. We have been in IT business for more than 7 years, and maybe the main thing we have understood that most of models which IT companies use, they have been existing for many, many years. And of course, it was much wiser for us to use a technology which exists. Yeah, we don't have our own video hosting. We use Agora, it's called, and it provides with many functions. Yeah, and of course we build it Yeah, and we have some plans to maybe expand the possibilities of Agora. Yeah, but it's in the future. Mostly we use.
No, I actually meant it more like that actually makes a lot more sense, because I've talked to other platforms that they're trying to do the hosting on their own and all these things, and then it just upfront initially it's a huge cost, and also like a lack. It will turn your focus away from your core business. You're not a streaming or video hosting platform. So I actually like the idea that you're kind of like putting that aside. But also related to that, how do you address the privacy concerns of the members? How do they know, for example, I mean, because for example, with Zoom, there's been like all these issues that potentially the company is kind of like snooping into the conversations and stuff like that. So how can you assure that the users, that their privacy is safeguarded?
Yeah, very good question, because some months ago, I even contributed to one platform with an article, how this new challenge emerged. I mean, cybersecurity in our video age. And as for cybersecurity, it's on the Agora side now. Yeah, we are dependent on their cybersecurity mechanism, and we trust them now. And as we know, nothing bad hasn't happened yet. But when we have this partner, we should trust them and analyze how they work with their technology.
Yes. Yeah.
I do have a question. Look, you said you have 5,000 members. Are they paid members? Are they free? Are they free? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You said you have 5,000. I have two questions. 5,000 members. Are they paying you? And what is the current marketing strategy? What kind of marketing strategy are you using to acquire those customers?
Yeah, to clarify, we have more than 3,000 users. Unfortunately, not all of them pay us. I suppose that 7% of them converted to paid subscriptions. And as for our marketing strategy, we see that SEO strategy works. Because we have been writing SEO articles since 2019, and now we have more than 6,000 visitors, and they are unique visitors on our website, and we try to convert them to our real customers. Now we are looking money mostly for marketing campaigns on Facebook, because we have a great experience, and we have more than 5 years of experience in marketing, and also influencer strategy is the most popular, I think, in 2020, and it will be the most effective in 2021. And viral mechanics, we just try to use different mechanisms. We have implemented it. Unfortunately, now we don't have enough traction, and we don't have enough data to understand whether these viral mechanics the best or not. But in our opinion, when we're talking about just dating, sometimes it's a little bit tricky, and it's a little bit difficult to invite people to any dating platform, because it's embarrassing for some people. But when you just invite people to this entertainment platform, data entertainment platform, it would be more comfortable for them, as we see it.
I have two questions. First of all, it's what is the numbers in your burn rate? How it look for the cost your development team? And second question from the Vasily Osmanov. Because when we talk about storytelling, how it look like for the gays. It should be like the dating, but then the gays, or I can be one of this community too, like the normal person, like the girl, and maybe it should be like entertainment for me too. Who is your audience in real? And do you have like the experts from this community on your board, on your advisor board?
Yeah. So I see that there are 3 questions. I would like to start from the third one.
Yeah, like
yes,
first of all, like
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, the third one, of course, we have representatives of gay community, and in our opinion, it's the most important thing for every startup which works with LGBTQ field, because LGBTQ field is very peculiar, if I can say so. It's very specific, and trust. To earn trust in this field, it's the most significant thing. It's Corey Rosenberg, our advisor. He's the member of our community, and also we have offers on our website. They are also gays, and they devote their articles to fashion. Yeah, it's a great news for us, and it's a great advantage for us that we attract more people to our website, and we this way can build our own community. As for the first question, I suppose that our burn rate is our advantage. Our burn rate is about $20,000, $25,000, and it's a great advantage because we have a technology which costs us some sort of $500,000, and the same technology, if it was developed by American developers, it would cost more than $2 million. Yeah, and we know that the quality sometimes is the same or even the better. And I suppose that it's a great advantage that our R&D team, it is located mostly in Russia because it's just cheaper. As for marketing team, we have a team here in the US. We have people in Chicago, and we want to hire in the future a marketing specialist. I mean CMO here, and I suppose that we will succeed in it. And the second question was about our positioning. Yeah, I suppose that straight people are not interested in dating with LGBTQ members. Yeah, and we started as a gay platform. Now we continue as an LGBTQ community in general. Yeah, and girls also can download our app, and they can join our platform.
Yeah. And
you
question,
are muted.
Yes, and question was about storytelling, because you don't wanna be like the dating part. You say it's mostly about entertainment, and how it look like the market feed as well. What's going on with your like the marketing strategy, like the Babur say? What is like a killer feature, or maybe something like a networking effect? How it's should be for the future?
Yeah, I've got a question. The thing is that we want to give our customers and our users the more tools for creating content, the better. Yeah, so the more creating services we have and tools for creating content, it's the better for us. And our idea is that people who are younger than 28 years old, these Zoomers and millennials, they go to our platform not to find a one-night stand, and they don't go to our platform for a hookup. Yeah, they want to find like-minded people. They want to spend time together, because we are mostly older here than 28, and sometimes we can't see that people just go to different platforms and chat for several hours. Yeah, we don't want to negotiate about their meeting in real life. They just want to spend time online, and our idea and our goal is to give them this space where they can just chat in groups of 3 people, 4 people, and etc. Yeah, and this is idea, and this is the idea that they start from entertainment, yeah, because they can play games, they can just play guitar, I don't know, to discuss Netflix TV shows, and then through it they can date, and they can meet in real life.
Daniel, this will be your question next.
Yeah, I was thinking about the on the dev team. Is part of it outsourced? Is it in-house? And what experience do they have on app development?
Yeah, our idea is that we tried to make everything in-house, and we don't use outsourced. And honestly speaking, it helps us to generate cash flow, not from our current products, but from services we provide. Yeah, we have SEO department, we have marketing department, and as for our IT specialists and as for our coders, they work in our office. Yeah, we use Swift UI for iOS, and as for Android, we use Flutter, this technology from Google, and we believe in it because Flutter gives you an opportunity to provide web site using the same code. Yeah, and we believe in this technology.
Got it. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and as for ASO, also we have specialists. Yeah.
Actually, how big is the team right now? How many people do you have?
It's now 20 people. Earlier it was 30 people. Before COVID-19, we were obliged to downsize our team. I suppose that it's a temporary measure. Yeah, but now it's 20 people, and they are based in different parts of the world: Russia, America, and also Bali. We have a market.
So if you're raising only $500,000, what kind of runway does that give you?
By now we have $457,000, which we raised, yeah, by time. And as for this round, we want to spend money on marketing mostly, because as for R&D, with our burn rate, it will be about 20%. Yeah, and we should spend money on marketing mostly. Yeah, and our valuation is $5 million now, and so it's about 10%. Yeah, we give.
So when,
sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying. So, like, when do you need to go back to the market to raise capital again? If you raise this $500,000 today, when do you need to go raise more capital?
7 months, 7-8 months.
Okay, got it. Cool.
And what is the exit strategy for these investors? I mean, like, it's look like the pre-seed round, or maybe like for the angel investors.
It's seed round. As for angels or funds, now we have mostly funds and one angel in our cap table, and we have commitments with 2 funds. One of them is a Luxembourg fund, OPS group, and of course, we are interested in raising money from angels too, because we are interested in raising American money. It's very significant for every startup which operates on the American market.
Did you talk with business angels in New York City? It's called like the New York City Business Angels Group.
Yeah, I suppose that we could meet them, because we work with different.
I can give you introductions.
Yeah, it will be great.
I can give you introductions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
sounds
guys,
good.
if you can also give us introductions, and if you know people who can be interested in this market, because now we understand that every fund, or maybe a lot of funds understand that this LGBTQ field is some sort of must-have in their investment portfolio. Yeah, and if you know such people, yeah, it will be great if you can give an introduction.
Yeah, cool. I give you some introductions.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Alec,
for the
like,
super angels too. Like, I mean, because it's really great idea because it's all about entertainment.
So, Alec,
Yeah.
I do understand you don't have that many users, 3,000, but are they using your application? What functionalities are they using? Are they giving you any feedbacks right now? What's their, yeah.
Yeah, the idea is that we implemented virtual dates maybe 2 months ago, and mostly these virtual dates are very popular among our users because virtual dates is some sort of must-have today. A lot of apps have this function, and in our plans to implement these virtual rooms, I mean video group chatting, as we do now with you. As for active users, we have about 600 as now, yeah, monthly active users. Yeah, and yes, yes, yes. It is not 600. Sorry, it's about 1,000. Yeah, 1,000 active users per month.
That's 30%. That's good. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't have any more questions.
No, it's really great.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attention.
Guys,
It
yeah.
was a pleasure.
I send you some introductions.
Yeah,
definitely. Yes. Thank you, Alec.
Yeah, thank you very much.
See you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys.
So, cool. So,
yeah, and we have one more.
okay.
Yeah, this is blockchain-based startup. Stuart. Yeah, guys.
Hello, my name is Ed Borio. My name may say Stuart, but that's one of my marketing partners. So I'll commence and start with the presentation.
Yes.
So the text at the top just basically has a quick link to review some quick short videos, as well as a copy of this presentation. So a Block Buyer is a residential real estate crowdfunding platform and focusing on non-accredited investors. So the market—
Stuart, I'm not seeing your screen yet, by the way.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yes.
I mean, Eddie. I instantly call you Stuart just because it's on the
No problem.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Is that can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yes.
All right, excellent.
Great.
So as I mentioned, the link at the top is just a quick link to get to this presentation, along with three-minute videos that basically give you a complete tour of the website for 3 different user types. The platform is right now in production. It's available. So we've developed it for over 3 years. Block Buyer is a residential real estate crowdfunding platform for non-accredited. That's what the focus is, non-accredited. Non-accredited constitutes as 93% of the US, as opposed to accredited investors, which is 7%. The story behind creating Block Buyer is that I was the founder of a company called BidDay, BIDDAY. It was a residential real estate auction platform, real-time auction platform where you can see and hear live auctioneers from the ballroom, and they can bid against people online. So an example is auction.com or Hudson & Marshall or some of the large auction companies would have a ballroom auction with 2,000 people in the ballroom, and they would broadcast that to 3,000 or 4,000 people online, and they were able to bid from their computers and mobile devices. The issue with that is that you're over time, there's a lot of inventory. There's one property that's being sold to one buyer. And we were looking at a lot of the portfolios, we would see property portfolios come in and they would be sold, and then they would be actually brought back and sold again for a higher price. So they were flipping portfolios in the industry. So we identified that there were a lot of dishonesty practices going on, and we said, well, what can we do to leverage the playing field and have one property being sold to many buyers as a crowdfunding has taken the initiative in being more compliant in the US. So we said, well, the dishonesty is going to be a key factor in building trust with a community and platform. So we identified there was 1,068 ways of dishonesty in real estate over my 15-year experience. And we worked, my clients were Fannie Mae, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. I had Hudson and Marshall auctions and several investor groups across the US, both in portfolio and single property residential sales, all residential. So we took all these practices of dishonesty and we built protections into a platform so that crowdfunding, you can invest and be secure. So we'll give you a tour really quick. I don't know why something's happening where I'm not able to advance the slide. Let me try. That's very strange. So with crowdfunding, you're pooling money into a single property. The business opportunity here is the US has crowdfunding approval as of 2018. Some of the approvals were previously in 2015, 16, 17, but those were very onerous and they modified them to actually be more suitable for the business community. In Mexico recently adopted the US's standards. And interestingly, I just went to Mexico to meet with investors there. And the state is interested in onboarding our platform for the entire state as soon as we translate it in Spanish. So that's where I added this recently. We're the only US site for residential and non-accredited focus. Because of COVID-19, there will be an escalated number of properties that are on the market, both in foreclosure status and forced sale status. There's been projections that would exceed 10 million properties. Even if that's a fraction of that, the market will be flooded with residential properties. BlockBuyer's platform can facilitate simultaneous property transactions in both Mexico and the US. We added this because there's a group of investors there that are interested in using the platform there. The company has a projected valuation of 400 million in 4 years, and if adopted in Mexico, it could be double that. A little more text. Basically, the value proposition is that we're similar to an Airbnb. We're an enterprise platform, or Uber. So two sides of a marketplace is a pure platform. BlockBuyers created an online marketplace, and the investors are able to easily invest with expert contractors. We define those as operators. Investors right now, they're able to use the platform to invest $500 all the way to $10,000 per property. If they're accredited, it's unlimited. And we're focused on fix and flip and fix and rent. So the contracts are set upfront prior to when they invest. Our operators, they have an unlimited cost-effective way to raise capital for fix and flip and fix and rent, or buy and hold, along with an entire end-to-end suite for a virtual team productivity. So it's a virtual team coordination system, as well as a money management collection and distribution system built in one. So we're an end-to-end platform. So high level, as I mentioned, 7% are the wealthy class, 93% are the non-accredited. Currently, all of the platforms, they really restrict or limit non-accredited. Typically, they'll use a traditional 100-year-old document of a Reg D that limits the non-accredited to 35. We've developed SEC compliance into our platform and adopted tools and statutes that allow an unlimited amount of accredited investors per deal. Our founding team is myself and my CTO. He is the owner of a technology company with 18 programmers and developers. We started 3 years ago with the requirements documents, and we built the platform end to end without using any open source, so it's secure and scalable, most importantly. High level, Investors lack, and these are the crowd investors, they're lacking the access to deals and to construction projects and the time, the money, the knowledge to do it, and really the confidence, the self-confidence to actually invest in a fix and flip property. Most of them will actually break even or fail within the first year or so. It usually takes about 2 to 3 years of getting your systems down to actually be profitable in real estate flipping. So investors love the shows, the HGTV shows of flipping. They want to get in, they want to break in, but all these barriers prevent them from taking action. Our construction experts, we're calling operators because they operate the project. They have an access to a large number of investors, a way to fund multiple projects simultaneously, which is key for their scalability and profitable. The accounting and investor systems is actually one of their headaches in their business. They're deal hunters and they're orchestrating projects, and everything else is actually a drain on their resources. They're not platform or developers, and so they don't have the skills. Reduces the headaches for the communications between investors and groups of people. It's an all-in-one communication system through the site with no misunderstandings and no documents that are lost. We have sufficient time to do the rehabs to keep team busy because time is of essence for operators. So an interesting point is that in a lot of the seminars out there that are selling real estate education by the gurus, 96% of the people who attend them, they spend up to $30,000 in education, but they never take the action to actually do their own deals. And that's because they lack a lot of these skills that are not told and revealed to them at the inception of them paying for all these seminars. We would actually be able to employ seminars nationwide with all these gurus and have them legally compliant raise capital in their guru seminar sessions with their existing audiences and actually generate education fees as well as allow the users to crowdfund properties and get into properties for the first time. There's two sides of this for like how it works essentially. On the left is investors and the right is the construction experts, the operators. The crowd investors essentially invest $500, say. They have real-time repairs and updates. So there's constantly before and after pictures by the operators, before and after videos every week, and status updates on the project that really engages the crowd to see that they're involved in a fix and flip or fix and rent project. And then at the end, they sell and all profits are distributed to the crowd investors directly to their bank accounts. On the construction expert side, the operators, they define the project upfront. They list the property, they list the complete contract that's fixed upfront before investors invest. The terms, the transparent budget, as well as documents, or Doc Vault has pictures, documents, and descriptions of the property. So the crowd is getting a full disclosure of the property and what the deal terms are. After the property is repaired and closed and repaired, the team starts to coordinate updates to the crowd, and that's when the videos and the pictures and status updates are delivered, as well as automated statuses within the system. All those are built in already and complete. Repair reimbursements, the block buyers, the block crowd is monitoring this, and they understand that the operators are getting repaired distributions. So they're not taking all the money so they can leave the country. We sell and the profit is distributed to the crowd. So it's a beginning to end functionalities for collecting the legal agreements that are signed, budget and process, the sale, or if it's rented, and funds are distributed. And again, that's right from their crowd bank accounts and then eventually back to their crowd bank accounts. Right now, there's a $150 billion market in residential real estate. What we're seeing is a trend. The pandemic changed this trend and actually is going to exacerbate or accelerate the number of properties. There's a few reasons that properties are going to be on the market right now. There are people that aren't able to pay their mortgages. They're right now, sometimes they've took the deferred of 4 months. Banks have a bank charter. They're not legally available to be able to simply change the loan, to tack on 4 or 5 months at the end of the loan and keep the loan. They have to actually execute a requirement that says on month 5, you have to not only make your current payment, but catch up payments. Banks realize that that's not possible, but based on their charter, they will have to submit a foreclosure to those users. And I've actually been talking to several banks about that recently. With investors that have portfolios of properties, what they're experiencing is not receiving rental income from their tenants. In some cases, there's a third of rent that aren't paid. In some states, there's been as much as 50% of loans that are not, or rents that aren't paid. So the investors themselves are going to be selling some of their properties right now as quickly as possible to get out from underneath those properties, knowing that they could possibly not receive rents for a longer duration. Our team is really stacked with legal and expertise in real estate and securities law. On the very top, we have Rick Sharga. He's been with auction.com and some other leading companies. Stuart, who is a group, he's a investment club group owner in Arizona who we're launching with. He has close to several thousand active members and up to 10,000 members total. We've been doing seminars and we've onboarded about 1,000 users on the site prior to actually being launched. We've been training them since it was early December or November, December, all the way to April, March and April, of training users on how to use the site in seminars. We had as many as 150 to 175 people per seminar being trained. Our operators are flippers, inventory providers, as well as one of our advisors who has been with software companies. On the bottom are our attorneys. The first 2 attorneys on the left are securities attorneys. Anthony has passed legal legislation for crowdfunding in Illinois. Mark Girardi, he's actually the lead that I'm working with to pass legislation in California, one of the last of the states across the country for passing crowdfunding as a viable option. Right now, the country has about 93% approval, and there's a few states that are not yet approved, California being one of them. Roger Royce is our our corporate lawyer in San Francisco. Our last slide is our ask. We're raising between 2 and 3 million, and we increased it from 2 to 3 only because recently we have a lot of interest in Mexico to translate the site in Spanish and launch there, with the state giving us several hundred to 1,000 properties immediately that they have ownership of, that they need funding for repairs to sell these properties, to either sell them or to put them in a rental state for income for the state in Mexico. So it's actually an interesting fit. We think that the $2 million we've probably broken into 2 safe rounds. We want the rounds to be that large because right now we have a smaller team here. We've been a lean team. And so therefore we don't want to be distracted by taking our hands off the reins when we gain momentum in 7 or 8, 9 months and then go raise capital. That would be a huge distraction and a loss of momentum. So we want to raise enough to be sustained that duration. So far we've had a user growth that has been increasing before COVID. We actually settled down with our marketing and promotion, but our intention is to grow our user base between 60 and 100,000 users, active users, which is key. We can get millions of users, but if they're not active, they're not really bringing value to the platform. So we're looking for active users in over 24 months, and we look to be able to facilitate about 100 fix and flip deals and 150 fix and rent deals and wholesale funds over that duration. And I'm not sure how many minutes have I gone, but I can show you a 1-minute overview of the site as well if you like.
Let's move to the questions.
Okay, great.
Okay. Let me start with one question. Why did you choose blockchain technology as opposed to just a traditional technologies?
Very interesting question. So we actually do not use
And
blockchain.
could you please like the short? Could you please close it, your presentation?
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Could you please close the presentation?
There you go.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. So great question. So we are not using blockchain at the moment. It's not necessary. It's not needed. It's not required. When we advance to having a secondary market where we have people that invested in properties and maybe it's a 2-year contract or 3-year contract and they want to get out before the contract ends, they would be able to sell their seat or their position on a marketplace. I think that's really, use cases are the most important for utilization of blockchain, and we've identified a use case of a secondary market as being a really viable solution.
Got it. All right. So the blockchain is left for the future, right? Not. Okay.
Yeah, it's a next phase. It's a future phase. Right now, we don't need it. We've actually have a really cost-effective money transmission system with an ACH with very, very, very low cost. And we have it nailed down. So blockchain would actually be used to supersize or to elevate awareness of the platform.
I do have one more question because I was at one point I actually founded something like Airbnb back in Russia 2012, and I raised $3 million capital, and I was involved with the marketplace. So I kind of understand what you're doing. So the biggest challenge of any marketplace is the chicken and egg problem, where you from one place you have to bring the properties, and on the other hand you need to bring the buyers or whoever you're targeting. How are you solving that issue?
So right now we have more inventory than users on the platform. So we can achieve as many as 10 to 20 to 30 properties per month just in the Phoenix area alone. We have operators that want to give us as much inventory. They can acquire as much inventory right now, and inventory is actually increasing dramatically over the past two or 3 months. Our challenge is we need marketing to be able to create awareness, to be able to market enough users to satisfy the amount of inventory per property for funding. So that's what our focus is right now. All of our money will really be focused on hiring a CMO. We actually tried to hire some marketing people before, but we gave them a 90-day terms and they weren't effective. So we really need a startup kind of level CTO that has built companies before. And we're going to be using predominantly most of the money for marketing to onboard new crowd users.
Okay, cool. All right. Any questions?
Yeah, so you mentioned you had about 1,000 users as of December, and now you want to get to about 60 to 100,000 in 2 years. Like what? How many users do you have as of right now? Is that the same 1,000, or have you?
Yeah, I think it's around 12. I think it's around 1,200 users right now. But I have to preface that but we actually haven't commenced an actual funding of a deal. What we've given them is we've given them accounts where we pre-funded demo dollars with demo deals. We've trained them in the seminars, and what we found is that they were going home and actually sending out friends and family invites through our system to invite their friends and family to these demo events afterwards. And so they were actually using the system after each seminar. So we identified that it's a good fit, that people are that excited about it. So we started to just taper off on our seminars right now during COVID and focus on raising capital.
And
go ahead.
Go ahead.
So
I'm gonna ask.
no, go ahead. You go ahead. Sorry.
All right, sorry. No, I was gonna say, like, so you mentioned that you have on the platform you can post the videos and pictures of the fixes. How do you prevent an operator, for example, from using the same video and pictures from a past project, or the same video and picture for 3 projects at the same time?
Well, each project is based on address, and the property's pictures, before pictures are put up. So when updates of before and after pictures, they're side by side in the, we have what we call a property x-ray. So it actually x-rays the house as a budget. So each a line item for repairs, maybe there's like 15 different areas in the property. Each one would have the before and after picture and before and after video. So they're seeing that with each line item of the house. In addition, they have, 10 to 20 pictures of the house in general. So it's very difficult for an operator to try to duplicate pictures that aren't fitting the house in question with the address themselves. And the second thing is that we have third-party inspectors that are normal inspectors that are used in the industry, and for it's built into the system. So they have a trip fee, a $50 trip fee. They go to each property to be able to validate repairs completed to give completion status during the project 3 times. So that also validates the address as well as the property that matches the app. And the inspector is actually bringing up our app and entering pictures and notes and budget completion in there. So they're seeing the house itself.
And those, how often do they come? It's like 3 times in the lifetime?
Yes, it's
Okay.
3 times, and that's because the operators come out of pocket for the repair budget 3 times. So it's a draw A, B, and C. So they spend 10 or 15,000 on like for the kitchen and everything, and once that's in, they send a request. The inspector comes out, looks at the kitchen, makes sure the granite, the cabinets, the flooring, everything's done. They check, and then match. They make sure they're at the same house, and they release the funds. The funds go into our system, and then that validates for us to release that A draw to reimburse them. And that happens again on the B and C. So 3 reimbursements.
Okay, and that cost is paid by the operator.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
It's built into the project. It's very typical, and they're used to it because they're already doing that with other means. If they use hard money at a very higher cost, they're doing that anyway. So they've done that for 50 years. That's been the process.
Got it. Okay.
Tell us about your competitors, because I haven't heard anything about your competitors. Anyone else doing the same thing in the market?
I have a great slide on that in the expanded deck. Essentially, what we found is there's a quadrant of four sectors. One is the non-accredited side, and the other is accredited side. What we found in the 4 quadrants is that accredited investors are focusing on more commercial and bigger budget projects, and they also have type of funds, that blind funds or funds that you're investing in, and they raise the capital in some cases before they actually identify the properties. On the non-accredited side, they typically will only go into the commercial realm of things. In some cases, some sites like a Fundrise or a Realty Mogul, they will post a trivial residential project, but in most times they have a Regulation D offering, so it's limited to only 35 non-accredited. The cost is sometimes $75,000 to $100,000 more for that simple Reg D. So the operators and developers say, hey, this is too much of a cost to allow 35 non-accredited, so we're just going to only allow accredited. So over time, these platforms have really abandoned allowing non-accredited, except for loan types of fund, kind of an E-REIT fund, or some type of a loan with an interest fund, which they're not actually owning ownership of the property. Like we're giving them a fractional ownership asset of the property rather than a note. So they've basically digressed to notes with interest and E-REIT funds that promise maybe a 12 to 15, 18%. But in actuality, the way E-REITs are, they actually produce more of a 5 to 6%. And because E-REITs aren't regulated by the federal government, so all the fees of management fees and overhead fees and everything can be stacked in there. And they're giving an ROI before all those fees are even considered, which is not that transparent and honest. but that's what's offered in the industry.
Okay, and one of my last questions.
Sure.
What's your you said you're raising $2 million. Am I correct?
We're gonna raise 2 safe rounds of $1 million. $1 million now, and probably 7 months another a safe round of $1 million.
Okay, what's the valuation?
So right now, with the safe note, we don't have a stated valuation on the company. So the A round will determine that.
Okay.
But in general, we have a couple of investors that are friends and family that basically invested roughly at a $10 million value for a company.
Got it. All right. Cool.
What do you think?
I think it's an interesting project. I actually did something similar. We were working on something similar. It's an interesting project. You need to have a very good team to execute the project, and you need to have enough money to bring it to the market, because you don't have the problem with the properties. You won't have it,
Right.
but you need to get the exposure as
Precisely.
much as yeah.
Do you think we're raising too little?
I don't think people are going to give you more money than what you're asking right now.
Okay.
It's better to go lower at the beginning to be on the safer side. And then once you prove that you can bring, because the team you showed is, all right, you have a technical team in India outside of the US.
Correct.
I assume it's an outsourcing company. So they don't have as much commitment as you do. And you showed your legal team and etc. But the operations, that's
Correct.
the most important thing.
And that's what we're using the money for, to hire that marketing team. The marketing team is going to be essential in our execution.
Exactly. So once you raise the capital and then you show a little bit of traction that you are able to bring customers, and then I think you can go and raise much more money.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Manana, do you have any questions or thoughts or impressions?
Yes, actually, it should be international investor or American.
I'm sorry, can you pose your question again?
Yes. What do you think? What is like the profile of the investors?
What was that word? The
Strategy
preferred?
for the investors too.
What's the strategy for the
exit? Yeah.
Oh, for the exit. So, for the corporation, the intention is to be able to probably have, for example, like to sell a portion of the company to like a First American or Fidelity, or there's also companies such as like a Blackstone. I worked with them years ago. This is, once we gain momentum with an end-to-end solution, those are the companies that understand business platforms, and I think that's a good fit in the industry. Mm-hmm. As well as, title and escrow are always going to be among the well-funded, and so a $1 billion valuation or so, that can actually be absorbed pretty well with some of these companies. That's what they're used to, if they're going to take any nationwide initiative to purchase a part of a company or the entire company.
How many current users do you have right now?
We have about 1,200. Mm-hmm. And we probably have more that are inactive users, or actors that just come and registered, but they haven't really used the site extensively. But 1,200 have been.
And what is the cost of this fees?
Sure.
For business model?
Sure. So for the crowd investors, they pay 1% of what they invest. So if they invest $1,000, they're investing $1,010 upfront. The operator has essentially a listing fee of $300. They have a capital raise fee. Once the raise is successful, they have $500 fee. And once they sell the property, we charge them $500 plus 1% of the raise. So if they only raised 200,000 on, and they sold the property for 450, we're charging them just 1% of the 200,000 that they raised. So essentially it's 1% for the crowd, 1% for the operator, and $1,300 fixed fees for the operator. So 1% with the 1,300 fixed fees.
Mm-hmm. And what is like the cost for the customers? What is like the LTVs?
The cost for the crowd, it's the 1%.
No, like for the marketing.
Oh, okay. So user acquisition cost per user.
Yeah.
So we have not really identified what that would be, because we really need a cohesive marketing team to be able to really identify what the strategy is. We're probably going to be using a lot of growth hacking methods, but interestingly, our cost per acquisition is going to be a lot lower than what's normal, because we're actually integrating with existing real estate investment clubs that have 10,000 or 20,000 users. There's 2 clubs in Arizona, for example. One is 20,000 users, and Stewart, who I'm working with, they have like 1,200 or 1,300 users. And in addition, we've also met with Fidelity. They actually want to strike a deal with us to be able to have escrow and title in exchange for their marketing to their databases automatically without a cost for us. And then interestingly, First American Title, I met with the executive offices, and they're actually interested in doing something with us too, but they want us to be able to gain momentum of at least 30 properties in the first state first before they make a formal program. So we think that we're going to be able to build on the shoulders of giants by using existing relationships and databases as part of our strategy.
Interesting. Okay.
Was I able to answer your questions?
Daniel, do you have a questions? Okay, I can share.
Daniel's muted.
Yes, send me please your presentations, like and film model too, and I can talk with our investors.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I guess the last question that I had is, in the past we've talked about how you do like the state-by-state approval.
Correct.
So why go for the state-by-state approval and not something just like countrywide? Because the blue sky laws are a headache to do like on a state-by-state basis. So what is the value of doing it that way?
Sure. So right now, there's a federal crowdfunding initiative called Crowdfunding CF. That limits the amount of money per year for crowd investors, roughly between $1,200 to $1,800 per year per person total. State by state limits their investment per deal. So if they can invest $10,000 on the first deal, several months later they can invest another $10,000 on a separate deal, another $10,000 on a third deal. So that's one of the differences in the federal versus state. Each state by state has certain parameters. Some states have a max cap of $5,000 per deal or $10,000 per deal or $7,500 per deal, but roughly they're a lot higher availability for investment than the federal. So with federal, if you're having marketing with people that have they're 93 percentile, non-accredited, they're capped at, let's say, 1,500. That's kind of a low motivation to onboard on the site, learn the site, get excited about the site, share with friends and family, and then be stuck to do nothing. That's very frustrating. And what that tends to do is they'll tend to try to lie on applications and try to register as accredited, which is what other platforms have had issues in the past for. So that's one of the issues. State by state is not actually that costly for us. It's actually less expensive to do state by state, and a lot of the deals are regional anyway. So, and they should have enough users per region to be able to accomplish the number of properties in that state. And as a reminder, accredited investors are unlimited. So an accredited investor can come in with 200,000 and close out deals pretty quickly as well.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's great, because also that's a really good point, because if you're doing the Reg CF stuff, you're gonna have the issue of, if the limit's $1,500 and you're getting a 1% fee, you're only making $15 out of that user. So it's not worthwhile.
It's not exciting enough, but yeah, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Have you considered also charging a success fee?
Oh,
essentially charging on the selling price? Is there, or I'm assuming there's a regulatory reason why you're not doing that.
Oh, before you ask that question, I wanted to mention that our platform does accommodate a Reg D offering. So a 504, we can cross state lines with a 504, a Reg A. So it's just changing the instrument out, which changes the attached document per deal. So when the time comes, we could do a federal offering, no problem, once we gain momentum. And we can also do the 504 and the Reg D as well as other companies. And that would allow us to cross state lines as well. And a Reg A would allow unlimited amount of non-accredited investors in there as well. So we built the platform with the intention of growing into that space. And so I apologize, Dan, please reiterate your question again.
Yeah, no, what was it? I just escaped me. What were we talking about?
So we ended it with that you thought it was good that we're addressing the interstate.
Yeah, the acquisition value. That of course it makes sense if you're talking about somebody that invests $1,500, then you only make 1%. But you could also make more out of the.
Well, they're making
users.
They're actually making 10 to 25% ROI on their money, but their fee
so
is
what I was thinking is like, will you be able on a regulatory framework to charge a success fee? So if they make 25%, then I don't know, the platform gets like a 5% fee of that or something like that. Yeah,
it's available. We actually have one option. It's a revenue share between the crowd and the operator. And so there's a revenue share. So they can choose to pay a fixed return of, let's say 17% return for an operator, which that's typically what they'll do, anywhere from 8 to 24%. So let's say they charge 17%, or they can say, let's do a 50-50 profits share at sale. That's for the crowd. That's without us being involved. But we as a platform, we can modify our fees over time, and we could increase our fee structure from that 2% and increase it. We can do other things. In addition, the educational offering is going to be something that people want and desire on the site. And the team of gurus all over the country, we'll be able to add educational materials into our site, either per region, per state, or national with any guru, and we will earn actually other revenue from those educational offerings. What we plan to do is translate those busy to-do tasks that they teach in guru sessions and actually make them tools on the site. So it's very little input with exact, precise output. So it's called the Do It For Me solution. So we're going to be translating a lot of those busy to-dos into tools, and they'll be able to pay for subscriptions to be able to get access to those tools for their deals.
Love it. That's great.
Yes. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for this discussion. Yes, it was like a really great pitch. And send me please your presentation. I can share my community for the investors.
I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks a lot, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nana. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Dan.